of the Council. I now give the floor to the representative of Somalia.
Madam President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to begin, Madam President, to congratulate you on your assumption of the Presidence of the Council for this month. I take this opportunity to welcome the newly appointed African Union's Special Representative to Somalia, Mr. Mohammed Al-Amin Suwaif, and I also want to thank Mr. James Swan, Special Representative of the Secretary General and Head of the United Nations Assistant Mission in Somalia, Ms. Fiona Lorton, Deputy Special Representative of the Chairperson of African Union Commission for Somalia and Acting Head of African Union Mission in Somalia, and Her Excellence, Ms. Annette Weber, Special Representative of the European Union for the Horn of Africa, for their briefings on recent development in my country. Since winning the election, President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud undertook steps to create an environment of unity and reconciliation among the stakeholders and visited 3 federal member states, Southwest State, Galmudug State, and Puntland State. Furthermore, the President held first National Consultative Council meeting laying a roadmap for the main national priorities. These priorities include finalization of the Provisional Constitution, adopting a unified election model, realizing political and social reconciliation, finalizing federalized process, and adopting a suitable justice model. The National Consultative Council meeting emphasized the essentiality of the national unity in achieving all priorities, including improved security and development of the economic sector. The National Consultative Council upcoming meeting in late this month in Mogadishu will focus on the trust building and ensure the execution of the detailed roadmap and plan of action for achieving the main national priorities. On the security front, as outlined in the recent Federal Government of Somalia's implementation report on the Somali Transition Plan that was submitted to the UN Security Council on July 10, 2022, significant progress has been made on the implementation of the Somali Transition Plan. The Somali National Army continues to conduct offensive military operations against Al-Shabaab in the past 3 weeks, where towns and villages were recovered in Hiiraan, Middle Shabelle, and parts of Galmudug. The gallant Somali National Army soldiers defeated the enemy, recovering towns and villages. SNA forces have degraded Al-Shabaab, disrupted its network and supply lines, and pushed the bulk of its forces. SNA forces have opened main supply routes between the city of Beledweyne and city of Mataban, and city of Mataban and city of Mahas. As a result of the heavy defeats of Al-Shabaab, it has responded with a desperate act of terror against soft targets and civilian populations. This can be seen in Al-Shabaab's deliberate and indiscriminate attack against civilian population in the outskirts of Beledweyne, city of Beledweyne, on September 3rd, killing 20 innocent civilians and burning 7 vehicles transporting food amid a severe drought in the country. Despite the progress in the fight against Al-Shabaab, challenges remain, particularly in sustaining Somali security troops by UNSOS, as the number of ATMIS locations and staff reduces by 2,000 in the first quarter of 2023. The stabilization, intervention, and support in the transition phase is critical to consolidate the operational gains made by the Somali security forces. Federal Government of Somalia has developed a local government capacity for service delivery and increased legitimacy and strengthen ties with the local communities. I would like to raise the following 4 points which can pose a major challenge to our stabilization interventions. First, UNSOS managed Somali National Army Trust Fund has major structural issue as evidenced in the persistent shortfalls of the contribution in the last few years. On our part, we have witnessed delays in funds for quick impact projects, medical evacuations, and other weaknesses in the fund. Therefore, we stand ready in collaboration with the donor partners to identify a medium-term alternative model for sustainment in this context. Second, Constant low level of recruitment of Somali nationals in UNSOS remains unsatisfactory to the federal government of Somalia. Therefore, we reiterate the observed discriminatory practices against Somali candidates or working Somali nationals professional officers is unacceptable. Third issue is ATMIS food rations mismanagement. We are still observing U.S. tax exemption food rations in our markets. This is a major concern since it impacts troop contributing countries and police contributing countries' delivery of their mandate, and it tarnishes the image of the UN as well as the impacts of the economy of Somalia, especially the livelihood of Somali traders. Fourth issue is also waste management. Not much has changed, and the accidental spills, improper management, and waste of the waste continues to occur regrettably. We reiterate our call to the Secretariat to remedy this outstanding serious issue in a timely manner. The Somali Transition Plan provides strategic directions for the exit of ATMIS forces in the transition process to transfer security responsibility to the Somali National Army. In this context, planned activities won't succeed if the necessary international support is not restructured properly and made available with a suitable alignment to the realities on the ground, including investment in quick impact projects in the recovered areas. In fact, it's agreed that we receive at least equal level of support, and this is captured in the CONOPS in order to have a successful transition. We are committed to the implementation of the Somali Transition Plan and looking forward to continued political, technical, and logistical support of all our from all our valued partners. Madam President, as you are aware, my country is facing a protracted, recurrent humanitarian crisis coupled with the threat of flooding, COVID-19 pandemic, and global economic downturn. Early indications of the season, October, November, December forecast point to yet another below average rainfall season. Our people's coping mechanism have been significantly eroded and are restoring to a negative coping mechanism. We thank the humanitarian partners' generous recent appeal and contribution to assist in our response to the life-threatening needs. Nonetheless, we emphasize that humanitarian assistance alone cannot provide a sustainable or cost-effective solution to the recurring climate shocks in Somalia, as it requires substantial development and climate change mitigation investment while strengthening the nexus between humanitarian and development assistance. This will help us in achieving medium to long-term solutions to achieve the sustainable development goals and target our most vulnerable citizens